Good morning, everyone. Jess here. Fritz and Luna have been on the SovCit Pawtrol today. There's a SovCit in Judge Meinecke's courtroom today over in Royal Oak. He handles it beautifully, so I'm excited to bring you this video. And as always, I am not an attorney. This is not any legal conclusion nor any legal advice. All comments are my opinion only, and all persons are innocent until proven guilty. Down below, I've left links for my PayPal to support Fritz and Luna's BarkBox habit. Do you like BarkBox? Did I say it? You want a BarkBox? Yeah? She likes her BarkBox. Anyways, let's get over to Judge Meinecke's court and see what's going on.
Is this Meinecke Harris?
Hi, Your Honor. I would like to state for the record.
He asked you a question.
Okay, so I am the living, breathing soul, Sir Juris, representing the legal fiction in all caps.
Okay, so hold on one second. Do I have the deputy there?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Is this the person that you have listed as Meinecke Harris in your custody?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
I am the living, breathing soul that's Sir Juris representing the legal entity for the record, Your Honor.
I appreciate that. And I see, and from what I can gather, you do appear to be a living, breathing soul from what I can tell as well. So the thing that I have to put on the record first is that the city of Royal Oak, there's a city of Royal Oak case and a state of Michigan case. The city of Royal Oak case regarding an expired plates and no proof insurance, they're actually moving to dismiss that case. So the Royal Oak prosecutor has moved to dismiss this. So I don't know if you're not, unless you're not willing to accept the dismissal on the Royal Oak.
I'm definitely willing. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, just want to confirm that.
Yes, thank you.
So on the state of Michigan case, I have a note here that says that you turned down a lawyer. Is that right? Did you turn down a free lawyer, ma'am? Is that right?
Yes, so under Sir Juris, I am representing the legal entity.
Okay, so you don't want to have any legal assistance that even if
I am the legal owner of the entity. So under pursuant 17 U.S. Code Section 201, the ownership of the copyright, which was served to the detective, and he did not put it on record. And that was stated at the arraignment, Your Honor.
Yeah, it looks to me like that you probably had this conversation already with the magistrate. Obviously, the concern in these situations always is that if you got somebody who is not willing to identify themselves, and that's why it looks to me like they set a very high bond, and the magistrate set a very high bond in this case, because there's no assurance that Meinecke Harris will show up for court. And I don't particularly care for high bonds, but I understand in this case why there is a high bond, because there's no guarantee that Meinecke Harris will show up for her court dates.
Okay, the legal fiction, Meinecke Harris in all caps, I am the representation of that, which is a Sir Juris. Therefore, I am here representing that legal fiction corporate entity. So I am here, and I definitely am willing to show up and arrive to handle this matter on the behalf of the entity.
So the only challenge is that every time that I have somebody sort of representing somebody else, because everybody here on my screen here is representing somebody other than themselves. Ms. LaBrandy is representing the state of Michigan. Mr. Steinberg's here on a case. He's representing a client. The person who's representing someone always puts their name out there. If you look, Ms. LaBrandy's name is on there. Mr. Steinberg's name is on there. So if you're representing this legal fiction, what is your name?
Oh, there we go. So the living soul, go by Amazing Right. The sojourners living soul go by Amazing Right.
Okay, so just so again, I'm trying to follow best I can. You don't have a name?
Uh,
Even one that you've given yourself?
Can you repeat that? You said even the
I
one
said you don't. I said you, the person who's representing the legal fiction of
Amazing.
Meinecke Harris. Like, what do you have a name? Even one that you've given yourself?
So Amazing Right is the name
Amazing.
that the living soul go by.
I always find it to be important to be accurate. So Amazing Right.
Yes, that is the name of me as a living, breathing woman and soul.
Amazing Right. R-I-G-H-T. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Okay.
And the name is spelled A-U-H-M-A-Z, exclamation point N, but in the case where you can't put the exclamation, it's the I, and that's legally how you spell the living name for me as a living soul.
Okay, so I got amazing wrong. So right is R-I-G-H-T, but you
Yes.
said amazing is
H
A-U-H
M-A-Z.
M-A-Z. But here's where we get a little tricky. It's either the exclamation point or an I, right?
Yeah, so in the case of where, you type my name in, sometimes they'll take off the exclamation point. There is the exclamation point in lieu of the I. When you cannot use the I, then that is the I you can use, but it legally is with the exclamation point to correctly spell my name as a living, breathing soul.
Okay. All right. So the challenge though that we find ourselves in is that I'm trying to follow you on this as best I can, and that you are here as Amazing Right representing Meinecke Harris.
Correct.
The problem that I have is that all of the sort of in the system that we're working through right now, all the documentation, I'm sure fingerprints, everything like that identify you, Amazing Right, as Meinecke Harris, and I don't have the liberty to just say, you know what, I'm going to ignore all of that and say you're not Meinecke Harris. I'm stuck with that system. And so while we're working in this particular system, and since I don't know of any way, ma'am, that I can treat you outside of the system, everybody is subject to the same set of rules. Mr. Steinberg, are you on this case?
Sir, but I'd like to, if I may, on behalf of the CDAM and MIDC, I think you should at least be advising Ms. Harris that she should get advisory counsel at the very least, Judge. Sorry to intervene.
No, I was sort of heading that way, Mr. Steinberg. So my hope was to sort of softly lead into that, but that's exactly the same sort of idea. So, ma'am, you don't have to talk to the lawyer if you don't want to, but I have plenty of cases where I have someone representing a client and they have another attorney there as well, because it's always good to have additional people talking about how to attack a case, how to, maybe make an argument to get somebody out of jail. I have plenty of cases that have two representatives. So if you have the chance to have someone there for free that you can take their advice or ignore their advice, I don't understand why it wouldn't be something that you'd be at least willing to talk to somebody. And you could say after 5 minutes, you know what, I'm done talking, but at least start the conversation. Does that make sense?
It does.
So, and I really don't want this case to sort of linger on forever. And so I'd rather have this dealt with as quickly as possible. So I'm going to order advisory counsel, all right, to meet with you. And then hopefully we can start moving on this case. I'm going to set this as quickly as possible, meaning I'm going to set this a week from today, 1 week, which is the fastest that I can set it. But here's what we'll do. So today is the 14th. I will adjourn this 1 week. I'm going to appoint court-appointed counsel, and then I will tell the person appointing the counsel that the court is requesting, and Mr. Steinberg, they'd pass along a message to the court appointed counsel that I'm requesting that they try to meet with Ms.
Just have your clerk send a referral to Mr. Mena or Angelina Sharon saying that you're specifically requesting advisory council be appointed for her disposal. Ultimately, Ms. Harris will have the entity will be able to make the decisions for herself, but she needs to at least have advisory council. The court concurs, but I'm just saying, have Paulina send that directly to Ms. Sharon, and that'll facilitate getting that assignment.
Okay, good. That to me, we need to handle this quickly. We need to make sure that I sort of covered my bases while still respecting the entity's rights here as she's setting forth. So I'm trying to work with you, ma'am, and I do appreciate, it does seem like you're trying to work with me. And we're trying to get this moving as quickly as possible. So I would expect between now and next Friday that someone will try to meet with you at the jail, at least hear what they have to say. That's all I'm asking.
I have one more thing to say for the record. So for the
Sure.
record, being that I come across a lot of lawyers and everything that do not do their job of entering what I need on the record, I'm pursuing U.S. Title V, Section 552 and Missouri Sunshine Law, Section 610.023, ETSQ, which is the demand for official certified copies of official oaths, qualifications, and bonds requested under the State Freedom of Information Act. So I definitely, in order to move forward, even with the attorney that you guys are going to assign on the behalf of the legal entity and me, the living soul, amazing, right? I am going to ask that moving forward so that the fiduciary obligation to uphold the actual law can be moved forward properly. Please and thank you.
I will say there's a lot that you just sort of threw at the court, and just so you know, this is not just for you. If Mr. Steinberg made a motion before me today and cited that law, if Ms. LaBrandy did the same thing, my answer would be the same. I need you to give me that information in some form of writing, and that's why we want this advisory council, so that I can look up all of these things that you're saying, so that I could take a time to review it and make an educated decision on your motion. I usually don't hear motions other than occasional bond motions on the fly like this. This is a more serious motion. So obviously talk with your advisory council about the right appropriate way to bring that before the court. And we could deal with it in a week from now.
Okay, and I will say that I will be looking for all false accusations to be dismissed once you guys see everything as far as the evidence and factual evidence that I do have to represent this legal fiction that I have copyrights of, the ownership of. So
okay,
thank you. I do appreciate you on your cooperation. Thank you so much.
All right, we'll see everybody back here in 1 week. Thank you, Mr. Steinberg, for
You're welcome, Judge.
And ma'am, we'll see you back here approximately the same time next Friday. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, there we have it. I really like the way that he handled that, shutting down her nonsense while also acknowledging what she's saying. I think that was, and more judges need to see this case and handle it, because it absolutely is the perfect way to move things along and handle these types of cases. Anyways, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys all next time.